Okay, welcome back. My name is John, and today we're going to discuss how to navigate the AIM Marketplace interview process. To do that, we'll cover 5 things. Number 1, how to think about how to rank order your preferences. Number 2, how to reach out to units. Number 3, how to track your unit engagement. Number 4, how to approach your interviews. And number 5, how to handle it when units ask where you rank them or if you rank them number 1. Okay, number 1, how to think about how you want to rank order your preferences. Know thyself. Determine what your own priorities are. That could be an MOS specific role, such as utilizing some clinical skill. That could be a physical location, a career development opportunity, or finding the type of fun, meaningful assignments that drew you into the military to begin with. Any of these priorities are appropriate. You just need to know what your priority is. Your MOS or AOC will surely tell you what it thinks your priorities should be. If you want to follow that, feel free to look at the DAPAM 600-4 for medical service corps officers or whatever your MOS equivalent is. But what I would say is don't worry too much about your career track. You will perform better if you find an assignment you enjoy. And if you're concerned about your prospect for promotion, just know that the promotion board only cares about your OER senior rater comments. The members of your promotion board will not know your AOC specific career track, so they won't know if you've deviated from the approved path. However, they will be able to tell from your OER if you performed well. So if you can contribute meaningfully outside your AOC's published track and would enjoy those assignments, go for it. And 2 other things. Make sure you rank order every position in your cycle. That means all 75 positions or however many there are for you. That's to maximize the signaling element of the algorithm that runs the marketplace. And finally, view your rank order kind of like dating. You may have your eyes set on 2 or 3 assignments, but continue to cast a wide net for the duration of the cycle. Number 2, how to reach out to units. So this may seem obvious, but create a form letter and email it to all 3 of the following: the requisition POC, the incumbent, and the unit S1 POC. In the email, ask for help from the unit in directing you to the correct POC. People like being helpful, so it's a very likely way for you to get in touch with the right person. And send your OERs once you have the right POC, even if your OERs are mediocre. Not sending your OERs is worse than sending average ones. And when you send your emails, feel free to tailor your AIM resume to that position, especially if you anticipate that position receiving a lot of attention. That'll just help your resume stand out. And finally, aside from your hopes of securing your next position, view the AIM marketplace as an opportunity to reach out to people who you otherwise would have no reason to make connections with. It's a great opportunity to start building those relationships and connections. Number 3, how to track your unit engagement. This one is also quite simple. Create an Excel spreadsheet. If you develop your own shading system with notes and columns to annotate who you've reached out to, who you've heard back from, etc., when you do your interviews, it'll help you keep track of where you are in the process with each unit. It can get a little confusing if you're engaging with a lot of units. So a spreadsheet just helps keep you on track, and it also helps you track if there's any particularly interesting engagements you had with units, or if some of the interviews you had or people you've interacted with in the marketplace were uniquely distasteful. It'll help you keep track of where you may not want to go as well. Number 4, how to approach the interviews. The talent marketplace is about the Army retaining top talent by making the system more transparent. In this system, you are the talent. The unit is not. Units compete for you, the talent. So treat the interview as a 2-way date. You're interviewing the unit as much as they are interviewing you. As we touched on previously, identify your own primary considerations for your next assignment and develop some questions to ask during the interview that relate to those considerations. For example, you could ask, can you tell me about the command climate? Or what's the daily or weekly rhythm for this position? Or what's my rating chain? You'll be surprised at how some of these questions produce conversations that you wouldn't have anticipated. Once you've identified who's going to be interviewing you, prior to the interview, you can ask the interviewer for their AIM resume. Their response will give you a feel for the unit climate. If the interviewer balks at your request, it's probably an indication that they view the interview as one-sided and you as a subject of evaluation rather than a mutual party. That may not matter to you if the assignment is at the right location or something, but it's a good way to begin developing your assessment. If the interviewer is somebody other than the incumbent who's in the position already, schedule a phone call with that person, the incumbent, so you can get an idea for the unit as well as get some ideas for questions you should ask during the interview. How to handle it when units ask you if you've ranked them as number one on their list. If a unit is insisting on securing a one-to-one match, they're communicating that they don't know how the marketplace works and they're trying to manipulate movers. It's not always a deal breaker, but it's not a good sign. If they ask you where you rank them, feel free to ask them where they rank you in return. They're likely to respond with something non-committal, and you can offer the same response in return. Or just tell them you haven't finished your interviews and you want to give all the units that you're interviewing with a fair chance and that you don't want to be rash. The other thing to consider is that the unit has no way of knowing where you rank them other than through the preference signaling from the marketplace algorithm. So I'm not saying that you should lie, but if you tell a unit that they're ranked number one, they wouldn't have any way to know any difference. Understand, though, that relationships do matter. So if you commit to someone, a person on the other end, that you are all in on their unit when you aren't, you may find yourself working with that person in the future, and your credibility with that person is likely to suffer. So rank order your preferences in accordance with your honest ranking. Don't try to game the system by seeking a one-to-one match. Since it's not a thing, I've seen plenty of people try to use that method and then just shoot themselves in the foot. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions about how to navigate the marketplace, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, best of luck finding your next assignment.